Hello there again, and it is Nicole and Richard of Young Black and Married, and we are here to do a quick video about a question we received not too long ago about whether or not you think that your spouse can find something to complain about in the marriage no matter what. And my answer would be if that person is just overall unhappy about something else and they have not come to you previous to and said, you know, this is my issue in our marriage or whatever, then I feel like if they're not happy, then yes, unhappy people can always find something to complain about. And it doesn't always have to be what they're specifying. It could really be something that that maybe they don't even know to acknowledge. It could be being unhappy at work, whatever. And I just remember my grandmother always saying, you need to find some content. And it's not a matter of complacency. Like, you don't want to get complacent in any aspect of your life. But I feel like if you can find a piece of happiness or content in every aspect of your life, then there's really nothing to complain about, because life is not all peaches and bubblegum all the time. You know what I mean? But if you can just find that little piece of whatever it is, just happiness, then I think that you're okay. But if you're just a complaining spouse, or you have a complaining spouse, and you just want to complain for the sake of complaining, who and what is going to stop you?
I agree. I think that if you're seeking to find something wrong in your marriage, you will find the tiniest of things wrong. One example that I always use is, if I constantly look for, is one thing that a lot of men look for in a wife. They want a wife that cooks, that cleans, that does all of those wifely things, as a lot of people say. My wife doesn't wash dishes. Never has, never will. I knew that 8-9 years ago when we first met. So if I woke up tomorrow complaining that my wife didn't wash the dishes, what am I complaining about? I'm complaining about an agreement with a woman that I made before she was ever my wife. Before we were married, I knew that's who she was. To ask her to be something different, to act as if she lied to me about who she was when she didn't, she was absolutely honest. And I accepted that. And I cannot take what I once accepted and then turn around and make it unacceptable. And so I think a lot of people do that too. And a lot of the time what you're now finding wrong is something that never stopped you from looking at a person previous to you finding this wrong. When you thought that person was the right one for you, that wrong was still there, but you were so infatuated with them being the right one for you that you just overlooked it, or you thought you could deal with it. And as time went on, you get to realizing, maybe I can't. That's still no reason to take it out on your spouse as if they change, when a lot of times they haven't. They remain the same, and you want them to change. And people do change, but people tend to change because of what they experience and how they feel, not because somebody else tells them to.
Right.
And so, like I said, if you're seeking to find something wrong in your marriage, none of us are perfect. There's always going to be something wrong in all of our marriages. That's not necessarily meaning that your spouse is not the right one for you, that they're not a good mate for you, that they're not the person that you love. But if, like Nicole said, if you're discontent with life, you will truly look to blame everyone around you for the reasons why you're not happy. And I think that's what it comes down to a lot of the times. Like Nicole said, her grandmother told her you have to find some content. If you're, again, always discontent, you're going to take it out on people. And so, Nicole, what do you think about that?
I agree, and I think that the moral of it all is, number one, don't complain, because it's not going to do you any good anyway. If you have a concern, voice it, resolve it, move forward. And if it has nothing to do with your spouse, let your spouse know it's not you, it's me. I know that's cliche, but it's not you, it's me. And then go get that worked out for yourself, by yourself, for the sake of your marriage, and your family, and yourself. And just learn to compartmentalize. You know, every aspect of your life is not going to be grand all the time. Doesn't matter how much money, how awesome your job is, how awesome your marriage is, how awesome your kids is. Something that
will always be wrong.
There will always be something wrong. Could be a million things right and one thing wrong, and that one thing could make the difference in how you feel about your life. So I would say, learn to compartmentalize. When you're at work, leave work issues at work. Don't bring it into your marriage as if your marriage is what's suffering, because it's not the truth. So just learn how to compartmentalize and be open. Have an open dialogue with your spouse, and just let them know, I'm just feeling away right now. It don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm sorry if I'm taking it out or if I'm lashing out at you. But I'm honest enough. I'm big girl enough, or I'm grown man enough to say, you know, it's not you. It's me. Something's going wrong, or ain't nothing going right. You know, it don't necessarily have to be something that's going wrong. And just admit that. Don't bring your complaining self to your spouse, because that just leaves two sour people. Like, and nothing is ever sweet when everything is sour. You know what I'm saying? So that would be my advice, is just to talk about it. Talk about it and voice whatever is going on and leave it at that, but don't complain.
Yes, and I definitely agree. We're married. Of course, we're going to tend to agree, but I definitely agree with Nicole. I do believe that you're going to have to take the time to sit down and talk about what is bothering you. A lot of times, that issue that we're carrying around, that we find wrong in our marriage, sometimes our spouse doesn't even recognize that something's wrong. We're walking around, my spouse is, you know, ungrateful for what I do, or they don't do enough. A lot of times people in a marriage get to comparing who does what. I do more for the marriage than she does. She does more for the marriage than I do. I take care of the kids, he doesn't. I work around, make more money, and she doesn't. Things like that, and that can eat away at a marriage. And a lot of times that's not even an indication that there was something wrong with the actual marriage itself. That's just the feelings that we have. And, you know, stress gets to adding up, and life gets to getting with you and adding up on you. And I don't let life overwhelm you so much. Like Nicole said, compartmentalize. Don't let life overwhelm you so much that your spouse becomes the blame of it all. And I think that's the real issue. And I think, again, if you're seeking to find something wrong in your marriage, especially if you're already unhappy, you're already discontented, you will find something, you will nag on it, you will beat on it. Your spouse might look at you like, I didn't even know I was doing something wrong. And to the spouse, if your mate is constantly complaining, before you dismiss their complaints, take some time, evaluate yourself, and if your mate has some valid points, you need to acknowledge their complaints and do your best, like Nicole said, communicate and work on them. And I think that is, you know, you have anything else to add?
That's it for me.
Okay, I'm Richard. This is Nicole. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it, and we will see you again soon.